guy that a lot of people around this city have strong opinions about leading off this inning, and Joey Gallo. And there are updates about Joey Gallo in the New York papers just about every day.
Real quickly, last thing on the past, what is it like being back in New York?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little quick. I saw it on the schedule. I was like, damn, we gotta go back to New York pretty fast. I was hoping they had played them already on the road.
The Dodgers are in New York City for a 3-game set against the Mets. And this, an early tour of the new museum opening in Lower Manhattan. Dedicated to one of the most culturally significant athletes and genuine movers in the American civil rights movement, the Jackie Robinson Museum will open its doors in the 75th anniversary season of the year Robinson broke Major League Baseball's color barrier. A walk through the nearly 20,000 square foot gallery reveals Robinson and his message transcend baseball and land on the tenor of this time in America. 40,000 images and more than 4,500 artifacts from his life help tell the story of how Robinson became one of the key faces in the civil rights movement during and after his baseball career.
Today is a very exciting day for the Jackie Robinson Museum because we are hosting the Los Angeles Dodgers. Team members, executives, including Dave Roberts himself. We are very, very thrilled that they've also brought their families with them. We have to be very careful as a nonprofit organization in the sports world to be neutral about those teams that we support. But we always get special dispensation because our beloved Dodgers, while they're in Los Angeles now, are still very much part of the Jackie Robinson family. So hosting them here today is particularly special for us as they've been partners of ours for decades.
Being the first team to tour that Jackie Robinson Museum was pretty emotional. It's just amazing kind of looking at Jackie's life up against the timeline of our country.
One of the things that we did strategically in assembling the Jackie Robinson exhibition is that we wanted people, visitors, to walk through first the other aspects of Jackie's life off the playing field. We wanted them to see how involved he was in civil rights, of course, how engaged he was as a citizen, his interactions with presidents and politicians at all levels to attempt to get them on board with some of the initiatives happening in the Black community regarding equal opportunity. Then you will make your way ultimately to the sports forum, or sports gallery as we call it, and you will get to see just what an incredible athlete he was. Not just as a baseball player, of course, but all-round athlete. So this is the timeline of his life in this gallery. The next gallery is a timeline of his athletic career, everything from Pasadena to UCLA through to the major leagues. But this is the story of his life, essentially. That's his brother's medal from the 1936 Olympics. Robinson came in second after Jesse Owens. Great athletic family.
I actually learned Jackie had signed a two-game contract to play football. Just all the civil rights things that were going on. One thing I did learn also was my dad was right. My dad lived through all this, and he hit it all on the head, man. And just to actually see the fact checks was really cool.
And we hope people walk away not just knowing about his incredible athletic prowess, but that they know how prolific he was off the field, how involved he was in the community, how much social change he brought about. And he did that until he died in 1972.
Jackie Robinson died too young at 53, with his civil rights work unfinished and thus unfulfilled. Despite breaking the color barrier 25 years before his death, Robinson never saw a black manager in the majors, a reflection of the state of the nation, he believed. To honor his efforts to advance African-American leadership in this country, Robinson's wife Rachel started the Jackie Robinson Foundation in 1973. It supports talented college students with leadership training, intern placement, and professional mentoring, an extension of what Robinson began 75 years ago.
I want to also feel, as Jack did, and as Jack demonstrated, that an individual can make a difference. So it does make a difference how I behave and how you behave and how we work together.
Robinson's family has been the bridge to the man in the history books, with Rachel leading the way.
1, 2, 3.
At this year's All-Star Game, it was Mookie Betts who led a sold-out Dodger Stadium in celebration of the very special woman on a very special day.
Today is a special day. It's Miss Rachel Robinson's 100th birthday. So on the count of 3, I want everybody here to say happy birthday, Rachel. 1, 2, 3.
Super cool moment because she has been a rock for Jackie and for everything that's going on now. You know, for her to still be living and doing everything that she's doing, I'm sure it's rough, but you know, she's doing it great.
Just to have her, Sharon and David, just to continue to tell Jackie's story and to keep his legacy alive and just continue to educate us all. But certainly having Rachel still be alive and around so Jackie's legacy is living. You know, as we look out 5, 10, 20 years, the more people that hear the story and the impact that he made will continue to have it live forever.
Keeping Jackie Robinson's story alive at the museum is the Legacy of Leadership exhibit, an interactive series of 42 touchscreen displays that feature testimonials from people representing all walks of life, all reflecting on what Jackie Robinson meant to them.
You gotta listen to that one. It talks about him being very, very political and having different opinions and supporting, people. That one's good. I like that one. For me, when I think of him as an iconic baseball player, not what he did outside the field. And I think that that's what this museum brings to life, is that he's not just a baseball player, that he has done so much for his community. CeCe's someone who I've looked up to since he was a Cleveland Indian. And then now come here and hear him talk about Jackie Robinson, how Jackie inspired CeCe, and now how CeCe has inspired me, is unreal how, what one guy can do that. So, it gives me goosebumps. Just, man, there's so much history, right? And I feel like it's, my responsibility to learn this history and then also share it to others, and I'm still learning. I feel when we went to the other museum, I got a very small glimpse of it, and I feel like that's like an interest of mine that's growing.
I'd never imagined I'd be in this situation where I have even a small voice in telling a Jackie Robinson story and how important he was to baseball, not only baseball, but civil rights and equal rights. And I'm just trying to gather as much information and hear as many stories as I can so I can, talk to my family about it, talk to the players about it, and people like Sandy or, the late Don Newcomb, who played with Jackie, and Maury Wills, who's a friend of mine, who learned from Jackie. So things like that just kind of enrich the whole story.
It was great seeing the whole museum and seeing all the history behind it. Just means so much, and you really get to take it all in. Being here and having everyone understand it wasn't just for black players, it's for everyone. The integration was for everyone. It's pretty cool.
Backstage Dodgers is brought to you by Cadillac.
The road trip continues from Miami to New York in Citi Field. The spotlight of baseball is on this park this week. The top two teams in the National League.
This is really a high-energy series. A lot of people on the outside looking in. Is this a matchup for postseason play? I think tonight there's electricity. I don't care how little sleep they had. It's going to be fired up in the first base dugout.
Forgive Joey Gallo if he's less than excited about a trip to New York. Just over a month ago, it was his home. But now in Dodger blue, returning to the city where he posted his lowest career numbers and endured the nightly chorus of boos, cannot be a priority.
When he came up with Texas, he was known as a power guy, and he's kind of the ideal modern ball player. He's the three true outcome ball player. He's got a lot of power for home runs, works a lot of walks, and there's a lot of swing and miss in there too. But yeah, from the time he joined the Rangers, you knew the power was going to play in the big leagues.
This ball hit a ton to right field. Wow! Number 41 for Joey Gallo.
And for a big power hitter, he's a tremendous athlete too. He's a great fielder in the outfield, something you don't usually expect from a big slugger, but he's a really good athlete.
Hard smash third base, grabbed by Gallo.
You kind of expected him to be in Texas for a long time, but things changed in Texas. He ended up in New York at the trade deadline last year.
What do you think it'll be like when you put on the pinstripes for the first time?
Yeah, it's gonna be surreal. You know, growing up being a Yankees fan, you know, that's something that I always dreamed of.
High fly ball down the line. Haniger on the track at the wall. See ya! Joey Gallo signature Yankee moment. A 3-run home run. His first blast as a Yankee.
His time with the Yankees went just fine early. But as the season wrapped a year ago and 2022 unfolded, what had once been a Gallo dream became a New York nightmare.
You know, it's never fun to not play well, especially, you know, in a place like that. For me, you know, I think I had to really take a step back and evaluate how I handle it, and do I want to be perceived as a bitter guy who's mad and not because he's not hitting well and it's getting a lot of criticism and hate and negativity, or do I just keep showing up every day and playing and being a good teammate and playing the game hard?
He's putting in the time, it's just not manifesting itself on the field. As Gallo swings and misses, starts to hear it from the crowd.
In that aspect, I think I grew a lot character-wise because, you know, I never really went through something that tough. I learned a lot about myself, and I'm proud of the way I handled things because, you know, I think it's easy when you're doing great to be a great person and a great teammate, and, you know, but when you're struggling and everybody's talking about you, you know, how do you handle things then? And, you know, I'm proud at least of the way I handled it.
Swing and a miss.
And he is 6 for his last 70, and included in that 34 strikeouts. And in New York, yeah, you'll hear the boos.
I think New York is a tough market for a lot of players. I think that Gallo found that out pretty quickly. It almost seemed like maybe Yankees fans didn't totally understand what kind of player he was.
He has the worst 501 at-bats of any Yankee position player in history.
For a lot of guys, when things are going badly, it feels like you just show up at work and hit your head against the wall. every day, again and again and again. And I think that's sort of the point that it got to for Gallo in New York.
I didn't really know if I was a good player at some point. You know, I think baseball kind of plays with your mind a little bit because you fail so much. It's easy to say it doesn't affect you, but I think it kind of does wear on you a little bit where you're like, man, like, maybe these people know something I don't know. Maybe they know I'm not as good as I think I was.
This issue that the Yankees are facing with Joey Gallo is one that's not going to go away until they find a way to make it go away.
A power hitter who the strikeouts and the walks didn't work out as optimistically is Joey Gallo. Finally traded. We knew that day was coming. He's going to the Dodgers.
I mean, as soon as I got traded, it was like a wave of just like relief kind of went over me a little bit because I knew like, all right, like I'm done now. Like I can be somewhere else and start somewhere new and have a new opportunity. And you know, I mean, I remember when I got told it was like LA, I was like, all right, you know, like a really good team, here we go. And then called Belly and talked to Hanser and stuff. And I remember I had to go to the field in New York to pick up all my stuff still, you know. And I remember just like getting in the car and playing like California Love and just being like, dude, it's sick. Like I get to go to the West Coast now, man. Like it's just like complete opposite vibes.
Good, man, good.
They really understood like where I was coming from and what I had been through, and they're pretty like aware of like the mental aspect of like what I just went through, especially Dave.
JG, good to have you, man. Welcome to the family, welcome to the Dodgers, dude. We're excited to have you, man. That's gonna be a fun ride. Ready to win a championship? Hell yeah. Let's go, let's go.
Well, to get Joey from the Yankees and to breathe life into him and bring joy to him, his life has been a true win for me and for us this year, and most importantly for Joey himself. And he went through a lot. Just the way he was received in New York, I felt for him. I felt for him when he was a Yankee, and he was strong enough to come out of the other side of it and thrive with us. It's exciting.
Swats this one the other way, and in very un-Joey Gallo-like fashion, it's an opposite field shift-beating hit for his first one in the Dodger uniform.
And he makes contact. It's loud. It is far. It is gone.
I was surprised like they had such a plan for me, and you know, things that I could work on to be better at, things that they saw that could get me back to the player I was, and how to just let me be a part of the team and let me just come in and be just one of the guys again.
Here he turns on a ball, hits it to deep right field, and gone!
He's got that joy back, and you see the performance, and I always encourage him to smile more and be himself and have fun and exhale. He's living by the beach right now, so every day is a good day.
Joey Gallo having a blast.
I hope he just comes here and we're playing the Mets, yes, in the state of New York. But I hope he just goes out there and has a good series and keeps doing what he's been doing for us.
It's weird because when you're on a team and you're playing in a city, you're so engulfed in that place that like as soon as you get moved somewhere, you're like, that place is gone. You don't have to deal with that anymore. You're in a whole new world, in a whole new city with people who don't care what happened before. It's different, you know, being here with the Dodgers. Like even with the hotel, like we're staying like somewhat close to where I lived. So it's just kind of seeing the same things that like, you know, I was when I was with the Yankees, you know, 2 or 3 weeks ago. But in a different headspace, I think. And, you know, like I said, I just here to kind of win games and get out of here.
And a guy that a lot of people around this city have strong opinions about leading off this inning, and Joey Gallo. And there are updates about Joey Gallo in the New York papers just about every day. On 3 pitches, Walker gets him. That's up 1-0, 9-1-2 coming to the plate for the Dodgers here in the 3rd. Shoots this one the other way, past the diving McNeil for a leadoff base hit. That ball's hit to the gap in left center field, off the bottom of the wall. Barnes stops at 3rd on a Mookie Betts double, and the Dodgers in business here in the 3rd. 2nd and 3rd, 2 gone, and a 3-1 pitch in the dirt for ball 4 to load the bases. And an opportunity here for Joey Gallo. First one to Joey Gallo. Hit him to tie the game.
Took one for the team to tie.
And now Lux comes through with a base hit the other way. The throw from Canna's cut off. Dodgers take the lead. A 2-run single from Gavin Lux. 2 gone. Bases empty. Mets down to their last out, but they've got the top of the order up there. Reed's 1-1. Up the middle, off Reed, who's got his first career save. And celebrates it in style as the Dodgers take the first game from the Mets by a final of 4-3.
I'm really excited to be a part of this organization. You know, I mean, if not the best organization in baseball, like the way things are run, it's awesome to be a part of, and you know, hopefully we can go win a ring and you know, make LA proud.
On the next Backstage Dodgers.
Drives this ball the other way to left center field. It is gone. Second of the game for Muncy.
The boys in blue close in on another NL West division title.
Their magic number is down to 6.
And one of the organization's top prospects rejoins the team as a September call-up.
Well, first at bat in his return to the majors here for Miguel Vargas.
And reflects back on his major league debut earlier this season.
What are you feeling right now? Any emotions?
Oh yeah, so excited right now. I don't know where it's emotion for this moment.
Good, how are you? Good to see you.